How do you feel about riding a Chinese bike?
I don't know, man. Everything's made in China.
Recently, Kove Canada reached out to me to film an exciting announcement video for them that Canadian rider Jordan Strachan would be entering Dakar on one of their Kove 450s. Our interview ended up lasting almost an hour, and I only needed a couple of minutes for announcement video. So I thought I would put together a video here where we could go more into depth on what's involved with going to Dakar and why Jordan made the switch from KTM to Kove for the biggest race of his life.
Who are you?
My name's Jordan Strachan. Yeah, I'm a professional cross-country racer from Canada. I'm 31 and I'm going to the Dakar 2025. So I've got a large background in extreme enduro. I did Erzberg Rodeo in 2012 and then a bunch of races in the States for the AMA Extremes, as well as Outliers. I was 10th overall in pros. And then I decided to make the switch in 2022 to rally racing. Just really wanted to explore the world a lot more, and I like going fast.
You think you can do this section just like a little quicker? Or?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'll be racing Rally 2, and I'll be as a privateer with support from Kove. So essentially, my plans is to basically be the only Rally 2 rider staying in a tent and doing the majority of my own maintenance on the bike. As of right now, with how much it's costing me, it'll probably be my only Dakar. So financially, this is an absolutely crippling race to do. It is borderline sell everything you have, and everything you make goes towards the Dakar, especially as a privateer. It's set me back a lot of years. The price, like the entry fee itself, is you're 40,000 euro. And when you transfer that over to Canadian, it's pretty scary. And myself too, in the middle of either building a house or buying a house, like I'm essentially homeless right now. I'm couch surfing. So that one thing I am good at. I am a professional couch surfer. So anyone that's got a free couch, you'll find me in it, because you got to sell everything you have, liquidate every asset you have, sell every stock you have, and drain your bank account to go do the Dakar rally. Skylar talks about it like you're living in the back of a van down by the river because you have to go to the Dakar. And it's financially crippling, and probably the stupidest financial decision I think I've ever made. A good way of putting it, it ends up being something that you probably could avoid doing, but it turns into something that you have to do. Like you get that bug, and it's something that you have to absolutely do before you die. And I couldn't live with myself if I didn't go. And in 5 years, I don't think I'll be able to go. I'm single now, I don't have a family, and I think right now is the time. I had built for rally before, which I did Sonora Rally in 2022 on. I built a 2022 Husqvarna 501 with a moto-minded tower, all the F2R, Icos, all that stuff. And it was a good bike. I had a bigger tank, had an IMS tank, and I enjoyed the bike, but the price point on building one of those is upwards of 20, 25 grand when you get suspension done, get the towers, and get everything prepped on to get a tank. And to me, out of the box, I don't know how you can even compete with one of these Koves, because they're ready to go. It just made sense to have a cheaper training bike before I go to Dakar. My training bike, I've just put bib mooses in it. I've got different tires, obviously. I've got Willem's tab on there with a Uncle Wang's tower, some Icos, and I believe it's an RNS handlebar switch. That's all I've got done to it. Everything that I've done to this bike, you can do for about 1,800 bucks. Other than that, like, it's bone stock. After building 501 Huskies and building these other rally bikes and stuff, and knowing what you have to put into them to create a potentially winning rally bike, like a rally light bike, or even getting into an RFR, which is out of this world expensive. It was just a really good option for the price point to get used to the weight that I'll be experiencing at at Dakar. And this is even before I knew that I was gonna obviously race for Kove. And it ended up being a really good bike, so I decided to jump over and sign with them to race the Dakar. I've honestly felt no quality differences on the Chinese bike than any other bike I've ridden. You know, all the European brands, I'll leave them out of it, but they're all being made in China now as well. And like I feel like the quality's there. And for the price, like it's pretty incredible what they've produced. And like going through, I've had this bike stripped down completely to the frame, and I have not seen anything I didn't like. For the everyday guy to go out and get a nice rally bike that they can go down and do a Mexican or American rally, it's perfect. And you know, for the everyday guy, the suspension's fine. And you know, even for myself, like I can hit stuff pretty hard on the bike, and the suspension's there, it handles it. You know, I'm obviously need to get valving and stuff done just to make it more my own, which you have to do that on any bike you buy. So the quality is not an issue, it being a Chinese bike, but the Kove's been really impressive, and I genuinely actually mean that. Like I'm not, I don't really have any stipulation in a contract or anything to talk good about them all the time. If I have an issue with the bike, I've been very open with talking to people about issues that I've had, and I'm usually pretty outspoken when it comes to that. And I haven't found anything on the bike that really worries me, or that really I haven't found any issues on that bike that I wouldn't find on another bike.
Go for it when you're ready.
Yeah, I've been cycling lots, so like I train quite a bit on the road bike, and then obviously I run as many road books as I can. I've been building a lot of road books on Rally Navigator and uploading them onto Willem's tab there. And yeah, like it's my weakest point is going to end up being navigation, so that's primarily my focus. I'm not really concerned about my physical fitness, and you know, like it's like bigger guys know how to ride bikes out of shape, and like I've been relatively not out of shape, but I've always been a bigger guy, and I don't necessarily want to change how I've been riding for the last 15 years for one race, because I feel like that's just not smart. So I know how to ride the bike with using little to no energy, and being a bigger guy, it's going to be nice. I'm not going to have to stuff my face with food at the end of each day. I've got some calories to burn, so I'd like to go up there, obviously in a little bit better shape than I am now, but that's why I've got the road bike. But yeah, I don't plan on changing an absolute whole lot with my physical fitness. I'm in relatively good shape as it is. It's just my navigation's going to be my weakest point. You're going to be on the bike for a long time, so it's important to really put the miles down on the bike. And out here, you know, I can't do it unless I have a plated bike. So for these bikes being street legal right out of the box is pretty unreal, and it's a proper race bike that you can ride on the road. So that was pretty important to me. And then just putting the distance on and running road books and getting used to the long days. No. I don't know, I've heard a lot of people wearing catheters, but I'm old school. If I have to go that bad and I'm battling someone, I'll just piss my pants. The biggest differences from the bike that I'm on, and like I say, I'm on the Kove 450 Rally FSE, so it's bone stock, street legal. The suspension's going to be different on my other bike. The bodywork's quite different. It's going to be set up with a full carbon tower. Suspension's different, and the motor's got a lot more horsepower. But you know, with more horsepower, you got to be a little bit more careful with how you ride the motorcycle. The end goal is to get it to the finish. So yeah, like working with Kove has been awesome. Like, you know, you're talking with the owners of the company, and like you're talking with race directors. Like you're not just talking to a local shop, or you know, with just some sort of manager. Like you're put into contact with enthusiasts, and the owner is an enthusiast. And everyone involved with these bikes, they're all in it for one reason. It's the same reason I'm in it, because we love rally. Obviously the end goal is to finish, and coming from a racing background where I've been competitive for a lot of my adult life, it's really hard to turn that off. So I have to learn to work on my ego and slow down a little bit and just focus on getting the bike and myself to the finish line. So yeah, it'll be interesting seeing how that works out. That's pretty deep.
I hope you enjoyed that video with Jordan, who, as I was editing this, has landed in Saudi Arabia and is prepping for the biggest race of his life. Go follow along with Jordan at JordanReed811 on Instagram. For those of you that saw my review video of the totally stock Kove 450 FSC Rally that I borrowed from Alberta Power Sports for the day, you will recall that we had some complaints about the overly stiff suspension and lack of power, especially when compared to our KTM 500 EXCs, which at the time was a popular bike to compare it to. So when I got to give Jordan's bike a try almost a year and a half later, I was very surprised by the suspension. It was so nicely set up. Jordan and I are similar builds, so the bike felt great. Jordan had the suspension tuned for his weight and riding style, which honestly transformed it from a bucking hard suspension to a really well put together setup. Jordan's bike is also equipped with the race ECU that you can buy online for dirt cheap. And he had the race exhaust header installed alongside with the stock muffler to keep the sound down. The power delivery when I rode the bike was almost non-existent until you would reach redline, but now it had some power down low and in the mid-range. To me, it still didn't feel the power levels of a 450 RL or a 500 EXC with a tune, but still much better. I did notice a little bit of hesitation a couple times in the 4,000 RPM range, so this tune might still have some tweaking to be done. I have seen some posts from Takamoto that they are working on a tune for this bike, and that should be a game changer for unlocking some power and rideability. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please consider subscribing and liking. It goes a long way in encouraging me to keep putting this content out.
Yeah, so my sponsors are PJB Cranes, 3 Flat Industries, Sunrise Trucking, Climb, oh yeah, Alpenstar, Baja Rally. Yeah, that's an important one, Baja Rally. Yeah. All the American Rally originals. And Revere's Construction.